Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Watsonville Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013. Anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission is asked to fill out a yellow card, speaker card, and place it in the bottom of the podium for recording purposes. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Para dirigirse a la Comisión de Planificación, complete por favor la tarjeta amarilla y antes de hablar, colóquela en la caja que está en el podio en la Cámara del Concilio Municipal. Y para usar los aparatos de interpretación en español, obtenga un aparato de la mesa junto a la caseta de interpretación, préndalo y use el canal 10.0 y regréselo antes de partir para si quieren usar el aparatos. So Spanish interpretive devices are also available. Obtain one from the table by the interpretation booth, turn it on and make sure it is on channel 0. Please return it before you leave. Okay, roll call of commissioners.
Corley?
Here.
Dana?
Here.
Gomez Contreras? Gonzalez?
Here.
Jenkins? Sarmiento?
Here.
Castillo?
Here. Mireya Gomez Contreras called and she's ill, so we could have an excused absence. And we're not certain if Dobie will be here today. So he hasn't called, so he might come by, but if not. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Corley?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Petitions and oral communications. This is a time that's been set aside for members of the general public to address the Planning Commission on any item that is not on the agenda and which is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. So I'd like to open oral communications from the general public. Is there anyone who wants to address the Planning Commission on any item that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, hearing none, I'd like to close the oral communication from the general public and bring it up to the to commissioners. Any announcements or comments?
I have a few.
Commissioner Corley?
Okay, the first one is on Thursday, September 12th at 6 to 8 p.m. Watsonville First United Methodist Church, 229 Stanford Street. Councilmember Kaufman Gomez is having a meeting, and she would like everybody from District 6 to show up if they are possible. It's going to be reviewing the city budget and the downtown and Highway 152. And if you have any other questions, please get a hold of her. The next one I have is the Climate Action Committee is meeting September 18th at 6 o'clock right next door. I invite all the public to please show up and help us out with that one also. That would be it for me.
Commissioner Dana?
Just real quick, I'd like to remind everybody that there's a group out there called Let the People Vote, trying to raise some signatures for some changes in how we conduct some of our business here at the city. And they'll be coming to your door, or you can contact Rhea DeHart if you have any questions or would like to participate on that. And her number is, I believe it's 685-RHEA. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez?
I'll pass.
Commissioner Sarmiento?
Yes, hi, thank you. I just needed some clarification regarding the meeting, the joint session that we had last week with city council members. So I needed to find out the difference between, or maybe they're the same thing, the Downtown Area Committee and the Entertainment Committee. Are those one?
Thank you. No, the Downtown Revitalization Task Force is looking at economic development and revitalization in multiple aspects of the downtown, including the vacation of Highway 152 by Caltrans and the city taking it over, which includes economic study, et cetera. So in them looking at all of downtown, they may look at what would an entertainment district look like in the downtown. And if the task force were to choose to consider something like that, it would have to come through here in the city council. But there is not an entertainment committee that's separate from the downtown revitalization task force. It's one and the same. And so at the study session, the council made a decision not to, at this time, propose any changes to the ordinance and let it stand as it is, but left the door open in the event that this revitalization group chooses to propose an entertainment overlay in the downtown, in which case they might make some changes to that ordinance as it pertains to the downtown.
Okay, but then that would also come back for
Yes.
our review and discussion.
So were they not to recommend looking into an entertainment district, you would not be seeing this ordinance at all for changes as per the decision of the council
Okay.
in the near future.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Item 4.1, motion approving minutes for the June 4th and July 2nd, 2013 regular meetings. Do you need a separate motion for each, or can we do
it's
one motion?
it's one motion for consent agenda.
Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of June 4th and July 2nd? Moved by Commissioner Corley. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Excuse me, I apologize. I should have asked for discussion or something. Want to move right away. Sorry. 5.1, public hearings. A public hearing to consider an application for a special use permit to allow the establishment of a CrossFit training facility in an existing industrial building at 442 West Ridge Drive, filed by William Lovejoy, applicant. We'll have staff presentation. The applicant can speak on his behalf, and then we will have a public hearing, bring it back to commission discussion for recommendation. And I think it's Susie who's going to make the staff presentation.
Thank you, Chairman
Senior
Castillo.
planner.
Senior planner, Susie Merriam, Senior Planner with the Community Development Department. The applicant wishes to establish a CrossFit training facility in a 1,300 square foot tenant space in the Westridge Industrial Park. It's actually, if you're going down, it is in this back building right here. The building contains multiple tenant suites, and the subject suite, again, is right here in the back. The tenant space, here's a floor plan of it. It includes a reception area towards the front, an office, a small bathroom, and then the fitness area. The suite will remain relatively unchanged aside from the addition of some workout equipment. The project has been reviewed by the building and fire divisions, and no modifications are required to meet building and fire code for the proposed use in the space. Again, the tenant space is located in the existing industrial park. It's right here at the back, and you can see there are approximately 134 parking spaces throughout the property. The Watsonville Municipal Code requires one space for every 300 square feet of floor area for fitness uses. By this calculation, the CrossFit facility would require 4 parking spaces to be provided. And during a recent site visit in the middle of a weekday morning, the parking lot was relatively empty. So no additional parking is required to accommodate the facility. Section 1416.504 of the Watsonville Municipal Code allows the establishment of fitness centers and gyms with the approval of a special use permit in the industrial park zoning district. The proposed CrossFit training facility provides the city with a specialized workout program with personal training on a property that will not be adversely impacted by the use. The project is consistent with the use permit requirements of the industrial park zoning district, and staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the project as conditioned. Thank you.
Any questions for staff? I have one question for Susie. I've gotten a lot of things. Has there been a change in your name?
Yes.
Is it Merriam?
Miriam.
Miriam, okay.
Yes.
Okay. No, because I saw that and I saw Erickson. I thought maybe we hired another Susie or something. Same one.
Split
Okay.
personalities. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Lovejoy.
Thank you for having me here. My fiance and I, she owns Second Street Cafe, and we've been trying to build up the community a little bit better. I was a trainer in Aromas at the CrossFit Ranch, and then I helped establish the one in Salinas, and I just saw what the impact it did for the city down there. And there wasn't one at the time in Watsonville, and so I've been working on getting one here for the past 2 years, and now it's coming to everything, just waiting to get approved by the city. And then they go ahead. I've talked to local businesses in the area about impact. Most of the people would like to be working out at 6 in the morning and 6 at night, so there wouldn't be any impact for peak hours during the other businesses. The feedback I've been getting from local businesses, they're excited about me coming in to get in shape. It's a little bit different than a box gym where they're getting a personal training kind of fitness that's ever changing, and that's not from anyone from 18 to 80 years old can do it. There is no prerequisites for it. So everything is scalable. So no matter what type of person it is, they can come on in. We look forward to anyone that comes in.
Any questions for Mr. Lovejoy? Jenny?
I just wanted to ask, do you already have a clientele waiting for you to open the site?
Yes.
And about how many is that?
Right now, I mean, roughly about 25. I've been talking to like my people at the bank, people at the cafe, and just getting feedback what hours they are looking for. And it seems like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning would be the big hours, and then 6 and 7 o'clock at night when people are off work. So they can, before, a lot of people have noticed they don't want to have to go home to change. They want to come straight from work to the CrossFit gym and work out. So that's why the 6 and 7 o'clock are going to be our main hours after work for them and our peak hours for us.
Aurelio?
Yeah, you kind of answered my question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. So you're not going to have any teenagers under the age of 18?
Well, we've noticed.
You mentioned just from 18 and above, and I'm just kind of interested in see if you're going to.
Down the road, there's this thing called CrossFit Kids that is for children under that age, just because their bodies are still growing, so we don't want to impact them anyway. When I was down in Salinas, we were training the high school football team there. A lot of kids that were going on to college. And so down the road, we do plan on changing the CrossFit Kids to get them in there. And I've talked to some the local high schools around here, like an after-school program for some of the football players and sports athletes to get them in to train them for the upcoming season. But for right now, it's going to be mostly from 18 and above.
And I guess just for clarification, is he going to need any further permits if he goes for the younger age group?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Corley?
What is going to be your typical class size? Is it one-on-one or 15 people?
I plan on having small classes. That's what's going to separate me. The most I'll have in my class at one time is about 5 people. I don't want to get too big where people are lost in the confusion of it all. That's why I picked the site I did to keep it small, so it's more of a personal one-on-one atmosphere. And
Any questions, Rick?
No, thank you.
How's it going to be running from the restaurant to the CrossFit? You know, is that going to?
Well, Mackenzie, she runs the restaurant, and down the road we plan on offering a nutrition class where we can offer like healthy meals for incorporate the cafe into the CrossFit.
Great. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve applicant's application PP2-13-158 for the special use permit.
I don't know where I am today. Going to have a public hearing. Hold your motion. Like to open it for public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to address this item from the general public? Seeing none, hearing none, like to close public hearing. Rick, get back to Rick. I'm
I'll
sorry.
try that one more time. I'll go ahead and move that we approve the applicant's PP2-13-158 for a special use permit.
Any,
I second it.
seconded by Commissioner Corley. Any discussion?
I would
Comments?
just say it's, you know, we're dealing with beer and wine and so on, so this is a low-hanging fruit for us, so thank you. Easy start for us. Thank you for making it first. Yes.
Can we have roll call, please?
Orley,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes. Motion pass. Thank you very much.
So I'm not sure if the applicant for the Appleton Grill is here. You may want to request if there is one here and continue it to a little later, give him some time to get here.
Sure. Is there anyone from the Appleton Grill? Why don't we hold on that and move on to 5.3? A public hearing to consider an application for an administrative use permit to allow the establishment of a restaurant, Taqueria Mundial, with beer and wine sales, type 41 license, with weekend nighttime entertainment at 1075 Main Street. Again, we'll have staff presentation. The applicant can then make a presentation, public hearing, commission discussion, and then staff recommendation. So Susie, again?
Thank you, Chairman Castillo, members of the commission, Susie Merriam again. Just to clarify, it's my maiden name. Taqueria Mundial has been in operation with beer and wine sales for approximately 8 years without an administrative use permit. In the last few months, the city received a complaint regarding loud music and crowds at the restaurant. And when we researched the history of the business, we discovered they were operating without the use permit for beer and wine sales. The business owner submitted an administrative use permit application on June 20th with the request for extended hours of operation and nighttime entertainment on the weekends, similar to the 2 other alcohol-related applications before you tonight. Now, the Watsonville Municipal Code requires an administrative use permit to establish a restaurant with beer and wine sales. However, the zoning administrator may refer any project to the Planning Commission, and in this instance, the project has been referred to you due to the request for extended hours and nighttime entertainment on the weekend. Staff is concerned that this business will operate outside of its Type 41 beer and wine license and use permit conditions by operating more as a nightclub rather without food service on the weekends when they're open late. La Cislita is a restaurant with beer and wine sales at 1230 Main Street, was given approval by the Planning Commission for expanded hours and nighttime entertainment in May. And they've already been cited by the police department for use permit violations in August, including overcrowding and sales to minors, as well as alcohol sales without food. The Planning Commission also revoked the use permit for El Miramar in February for similar problems related to late night hours and entertainment. So by definition, a Type 41 beer and wine license cannot sell alcohol without the purchase of food. This is different than a restaurant with a Type 47 license, which allows the purchase of food or the purchase of alcohol without food. Further, restaurants with Type 47 licenses must meet separation requirements outlined in our ordinance. Restaurants with beer and wine sales do not have separation requirements. At this time, the city's alcohol ordinance does not have specific conditions pertaining to nightclub operation or the operation of a restaurant with Type 41 license that has nighttime entertainment. Staff is concerned that these late hours, coupled with live entertainment, will cause a significant drain on the city's resources, both in the police department and the community development department, and may result in a public nuisance or detriment to the safety of the public. As I indicated, before, the California State Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control issues various licenses for the sale of alcohol. The Type 41 license allows the sale of beer, wine, and food. Beer and wine while the food is being served. Minors are allowed to remain on the premises. If entertainment is proposed, food must still be provided during the period of entertainment. Just to take a look at the floor plan, the restaurant is located in a 1960s era building that was originally used as a drive-in. There's a market and aftermarket auto accessories retailer on the property in a different building, and all the tenants share the same parking lot. So the restaurant has a large main dining area with table seating and a smaller dining room area to the side, which is labeled on this plan as a conference room. When staff inspected the site, there was a pool table located in this conference room area. Excuse me, which requires additional permits and has additional restrictions through the police department. There's an existing video surveillance system inside the restaurant. However, the business owner indicated he hadn't been trained on the operation of the system and needed more education on how to operate it. Now, the exterior of the restaurant included 2 large banners along the fence fronting on Main Street, as well as Corona beer flags around the roof line of the restaurant. Those are in violation of the city's sign ordinance. So the owner was informed that the pool table and the banners have to be removed from the business, and as well as we discussed his need for education on how to operate his surveillance system. So the proposed hours, Monday through Thursday, they're proposed to be open till 10. Friday and Saturday, they're proposed to be open till midnight. Entertainment would be limited to Friday and Saturday nights. The police department has reviewed the project. There have been no issues aside from that one recent violation at the restaurant. And they indicated if entertainment is approved, that one security guard is sufficient to manage the door to the restaurant. So due to the lack of standard conditions and adopted regulations regarding the operation of a restaurant with beer and wine sales with entertainment and extended hours, city staff is unable to make a recommendation in support of the proposal for extended hours on the weekend with entertainment. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission consider adopting a resolution either approving the special use permit allowing the establishment of a restaurant with beer and wine sales with hours until 10 o'clock and no entertainment, or consider approving a resolution allowing the establishment of the restaurant with extended hours and nighttime entertainment. Staff is recommending that if the Planning Commission does adopt a resolution approving the extended hours and nighttime entertainment, that the following conditions be added to the conditions of approval, which are standard for the beer and wine license, and then these would be added to handle entertainment. First, that a designated manager be on duty during all special events, with the manager's name and contact information given to the police department and kept on file with the entertainment permit. That the exterior of the building have sufficient lighting. That all employees serving or selling alcohol be at least 21 years old, which is also an ABC requirement. The yearly entertainment permit required from the police department. That the surveillance system be installed in coordination with the Watsonville Police Department, and that all managers and the owner of the business be properly trained on how to use it. That licensed security be retained to staff each event and utilize metal detecting wands. That the security company shall be state and locally licensed and pre-approved by the police department as part of the entertainment permit process. That no alcohol shall be served without the purchase of food. That lead training for all management and servers be done within 3 months of approval of the permit. That the banners be removed from outside the business as well as the pool table, and that the business shall maintain adequate ventilation during all operating hours. And this concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the staff? Rick?
On the food service with the beer and wine, how does that work in the real world? So if I came in and I ordered a taco and I had a beer with it, and I finished my taco or left half of it there and continued to drink beer, at what point, is it just that they order some food and then they can drink alcohol? Or is there how does that actually work in the actual restaurant there?
Essentially with the restaurant, the general operation is that someone comes in and has a meal, and if they have a few beers, that's fine, but then it is up to the server and the manager to limit that.
But in this case, so the music starts after dinner, and they're still at their table, and they're still, I wouldn't see would they still be able to continue to order beer is what I'm saying. So you don't have to continue to order food. As long as you order some food, are the patrons allowed to continue to stay into the evening for the entertainment without ordering additional food? That gets confusing to me. So it's kind of a trust thing. I mean,
Yeah.
the restaurant owner, there's a lot of ways to go around this, apparently. Right, okay.
My sense is that you can't just come in and start ordering beer.
Right.
You've-
But if you order food,
But
and
if
then
you order
continue to order
food-
beer,
I mean, that's the tricky part of it. I mean, you could order just one taco
right.
and
Heck.
take 5 hours to eat that taco, I'm assuming.
Or the restaurant owner can give you a taco with your first beer, and
Yeah.
that satisfies I guess it just has to be, I guess what
And
you're saying is it comes to
Yeah,
responsibility.
you're seeing the difficulty that we're having as well.
Absolutely,
With this.
I get it, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, because you could order a taco and keep it for 5 hours and keep ordering beers.
Or have 2 tacos over 5 hours and 14 beers, right? I have friends like
That's-
that.
That's the difficulty for staff, and I think for the ordinance also.
Yes, it is difficult.
Marty?
One quick question. Does the jukebox fall under the special use permit too?
No. Unless there's someone inside the jukebox singing live.
That's a good idea.
Other questions?
Yeah.
Aurelio?
On the special events, that's the only time he's going to be required to have security?
Yes.
So again, it's like my fellow commissioner said, that if folks come in prior to the starting of the event, then and I guess I'm trying to get to this point is if we're trying to make sure that the people that aren't appropriate to be attending sometimes these events wind up inside the facilities. How is the owner gets the owner's responsibility to deal with that after that point when the event starts?
You know, it's ultimately, even if they do have security on site, it is the business owner's responsibility to police the patrons that are in the restaurant. I mean, they are the management. They are there managing the security guards as well as the business.
And I guess some of these events are like karaoke and I guess other entertainment.
Yes.
Would include what? Receptions, quinceañeras, weddings?
Exactly, birthday parties.
So how would we, or the restaurant owner, have to deal with if he's going to have, I guess he would close the establishment for that day if he's going to have an event, a reception of some sort?
He might. I would defer that to the applicant to answer, you know, how he would manage private events versus events that are open to the public.
Yeah, because I mean, that's one of my concerns is, I mean, if he has a restaurant open and then there's going to be a reception and two different groups of people are coming in.
Jenny?
So, Mr. Carlos Hernandez has been the owner since 2005, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and he wasn't trained in the video, or he wasn't informed on all the requirements that he needed to comply with to be able to run a business?
He did not have an administrative use permit, so he did not have the standard conditions on his business. This is the first time he's coming to the city for that, and he is requesting the extended hours in entertainment.
Okay.
Other questions?
Yeah. Can I?
Toby? Oh,
Do I understand that there is an existing wine and beer license at the premise?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
There is an existing wine and beer license at the premise?
Yes.
And what has been the history, if any, of incidents requiring the police attendance?
Until a couple months ago, there was really nothing. I believe that entertainment might have been more recent this year, and that's when we started hearing rumblings regarding this establishment.
I see. Thank you.
is there another question, Aurelio?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up, Commissioner. Since he was the owner since 2005, how did he, I guess, he fall out of the loop for the special ordinance permit?
Let me try and see if I can clarify. When the ordinance was first adopted, anybody who had an establishment with food and beer and wine got a free use permit, got grandfathered in. Anybody who came in since, I said change ownership. If a restaurant changed ownership, the new owner was advised to process an administrative use permit for the beer and wine, and that's done at staff level. So if the restaurant just wanted to have regular hours, not asking for entertainment, it's just beer and wine, they have an ABC license, we process it at staff level, and all those conditions are given to them. By mistake or otherwise, the owner of this establishment was notified in 2005 that he needed an administrative use permit, but unfortunately, he failed to apply for one, and we failed to notice. So the gentleman has been operating since 2005, which would have been a administrative use permit, where all these conditions would have been added. And it's until recently that we realized that no administrative use permit was ever processed for the new ownership since 2005. So we are 8 years into the new ownership, and we're now including all these conditions. So even if you were not to approve the entertainment in the extended hours, this is the first time he's getting the conditions on beer and wine with food. Does that make sense? So we would have approved it. It's a standard thing. We have standard conditions. All restaurants that have beer and wine, it's standard. So that doesn't come to the Planning Commission. As it said at the beginning of the presentation, it only comes to you if they are asking for something additional. And so now you're getting the package deal because didn't realize that the administrative use permit had never been applied.
So is there a request for an administrative use permit and for a use permit for live entertainment?
In the administrative use permit, this type of license, type 41, with beer and wine and food closed at 10, would have been approved at staff level with conditions.
Yeah, I mean, there's two resolutions before you. So one of them is just a standard type 41 without entertainment and extended hours. That was the one we recommended approval on. The other one, we're giving you the option to see if it's possible to move forward with entertainment, and understanding that there has been some potential problems with that type of establishment in meeting the type 41 license requirements. So that's why we split it up.
Mm-hmm.
Got one more
Marty?
question. On the special use permit, is that a yearly permit, or is it going to have to be
No, the
every
special
event?
use permit runs with the people who own it. If they were to sell the establishment, then a new use permit would have to go on. The entertainment permit is a yearly thing that they would have to get from the police department.
So the entertainment would be every year? they
Every
have to
year,
renew it?
they would have to get that, you know, and if there are issues with the entertainment portion of it, in the 6-month review, which is part of the recommended conditions, if you choose to go forward with that, if there are problems, we'll bring it back to you as part of that 6-month review. So Las Alitas will, after the 6 months, if they have any other further violations, we may come with we've given them a warning, which is the standard process. They may get additional if there's additional problems.
And there was a complaint about live entertainment
At this location.
This
That's kind of what prompted this to come forward to the Planning Commission.
and was that karaoke, a band? Does anybody know? Or
I believe it was karaoke.
any other questions for staff?
We've also got representatives from the police department here as well as the applicant. If you have any questions.
Would someone for the police department want to address any issues that were not covered, or questions from the?
Commission, Chris Green with the police department. So I accompanied Susie during the inspection. I think from the police department's point of view, what we're looking at is that we've got a business here that wants to extend some hours from, I think it's 10 p.m. to 12 in the
Midnight.
morning, isn't it? 10 p.m. to 12? Those are the hours that are extended. Typically, businesses that operate in that fashion, according to ABC, Alcohol Beverage Control, are nightclubs. So essentially what we have is we've got this business that wants to operate during these extended hours under a Type 41 license. We've already heard the descriptions of what a Type 41 and a Type 47 are. The Type 47 allows for distilled spirits and other things of that nature. During those type of hours, it's our experience as a police department that that's a nightclub environment. So what we're encouraging is that a Type 47 license be pursued by the permittee first before they get this special condition added on. Any other questions?
Clarify, while the applicant could be pursuing a 47, he could operate as a restaurant with a 41.
He could. Now, distilled spirits could not be served under
Right.
that permit.
But beer and wine until 10 p.m.
Correct. With the caveat of the understanding that, I think as you were mentioning, Mr. Dana, when you go in the real world and you buy a taco and you get a beer with it, that's fine. You're obviously sitting down and having a meal. When people come in at 10 o'clock at night, they're typically not coming in to have a meal. And that's part of the purpose, the intention of a Type 41 license. The Type 41 was designed so that you come in and you have a meal, you go ahead and you may have a glass of wine, a beer, or something with that. Typically when people come in at 10 o'clock to midnight, they're not coming in to do that. They're coming in to primarily drink. So that's our perspective on it.
I have a question. Let me see if I can. But under the existing license, and if the commission does approve for Friday and Saturday to go to midnight, they would still have to come in and buy a meal.
Food of some
Food,
sort, correct.
and then a beer or whatever. But you're saying that it's your experience that folks after 10 o'clock don't come in to buy.
It is my experience.
Right.
And I think the real world example that was
Right.
proposed by Mr. Dannett
Yeah.
is just that. If people are coming in at 10 o'clock, a lot of people have already eaten and aren't necessarily interested in eating food. They're definitely interested in karaoke and entertainment and drinking and things of that nature. But again, that's real world. Under the permit, surely they could come in and buy appetizers and things of that nature and still meet the requirements under Type 41.
Any questions?
Do you think if we adjusted the time a little bit, kind of baby steps here, maybe let them stay open a little bit later, do you think that is a middle ground? Or what do you think from your perspective of these kind of establishments? If we close them a little earlier than midnight, but a little bit later than normal, let people sit at their table a little bit longer, maybe a little bit of entertainment. What do you think on that?
Let me defer to my supervisor. That's a good question.
Jorge Zamora, or George Zamora. Good evening, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Well, our perspective on that is at 10 o'clock, the environment changes, the people change. And in order for us to support anything close to that, we would really want the establishment to pursue a Type 47 license first with ABC. So at this point, we wouldn't support that because as Green is saying, our experience tells us a lot, right? So I think that knowing that, we're opening the door to a lot of problems. I mean, we all want to help out and do our part to make business a good thing, but we really have to be careful. So I would say that the owners should pursue a Type 47 license first, and then we could explore other options to,
I can imagine this is a pretty busy time for you on Friday and Saturday nights, 10 to 12,
never
right?
busy.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's.
But then you take these type of,
Yeah.
if these become problem establishments, obviously we're taking away from the other citizens of Watsonville when these folks are having to spend more than their due time at establishments that are not following the rules.
Exactly, and,
Accurate.
yeah, and exactly, Friday nights, Saturday nights, even Sunday nights, after 10, it gets busy. Not just in this city, but in any city.
And that's pulling officers out of neighborhoods and other areas too.
Oh, absolutely.
To deal with this stuff. Okay,
Yes.
great, thank you.
Any other questions for Jenny?
So this is probably a general question, but whose responsibility is it to get educated on what's required to run a business? Is it the responsibility of the city to educate the new business owner, or is it the business owner that needs to get educated on what's required to run a business?
Generally, part of the standard conditions is that the business owner go to lead training, which is put on by ABC. So it is the business owner's responsibility to obtain that training. And that's one of the conditions we put on them, that within 3 months, they give us a certification that their people have gone to that training.
Other questions for the police officers? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Hernandez here?
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Pues el principal motivo es arreglar el permiso, el user's permit que ocupo. Discúlpeme porque yo no hablo mucho inglés.
No hay problema, lo puede hablar en español, lo tenemos traducción para el inglés.
Del entretenimiento, esa parte no me interesa mucho tenerlo. Inclusive estoy pensando eso del karaoke, no hacerlo ya. Porque yo también he visto que me puede acarrear problemas y tal vez sería mejor no tenerlo, pero el principal, el permiso del 41, la licencia de la cerveza y alcohol sí, y si se puede sacar el de horas extendidas estaría bien, pero lo del karaoke no tengo planeado volverlo a hacer. Lo pensé mejor y no creo que valga la pena.
Translation?
Do you have me on?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
now.
Sorry about that. Start over. Good evening. The reason why I'm here is to fix the use permit. Excuse me, I don't speak a lot of English. The entertainment permit, I'm not interested in it anymore. And the karaoke, I'm not wanting to do it anymore. I've seen that it can create problems for me, and it would be better not to have it. What I'm looking for is the permit for 41 for beer and wine. And if I can extend my hours, that would be great. And I'm thinking karaoke, I'm not planning to do it again. I've thought about it, and I don't think it's worth it.
Entonces, a ver si para entender, see if I can understand this. Entonces, no quiere el karaoke.
Karaoke no.
Solo quiere extender las horas, pero extender para tener el restaurante solo.
Lo que principalmente me interesa porque en veces familias van a celebrar algún cumpleaños, un bautizo y quieren tener algún tipo de música y yo lo que quiero es tener el permiso bien para esas ocasiones, pero el karaoke no lo pensé mejor y creo que no.
Translation?
He stated that he would like to have the karaoke available if needed, but he's thought about it better and he won't want to use the karaoke.
Solo.
Just to clarify, I'm sorry. So he is still pursuing an entertainment permit for special events, but has decided on his own that he's not going to have karaoke as an ongoing weekend entertainment. So he's not abandoning the entertainment permit request or the extended hours, but would use the entertainment permit for special events. So the request remains as it was.
¿Quiere decir más? O
Can we-
preguntas, questions, Jenny?
Lo que yo le quería preguntar es si es responsabilidad de usted informarse acerca de las leyes y las reglas que necesita para operar un negocio así. ¿Por qué no lo ha hecho durante 6, 7 años, 8 años realmente?
Translation?
Sorry, do you hear me now?
Yes.
If you've been in operation for 8 years, why haven't you done it between these 8 years?
Come informed, actually.
You missed the first part.
Right.
So the question was, whose responsibility is it to become informed of the laws, the regulations, and how to implement them? And why is it taking 8 years for that to take place?
A ver si entendí bien. Que si no me he informado bien cómo se debe de conducir el negocio con beer y wine, yo fui a las clases del ABC. O sea, tengo algo de información, no es nada. Yo sé algo de eso. Yo he ido a las clases del ABC.
Pero ha estado operando por, you've been operating for 8 years and you haven't complied with the city's regulations and rules.
Can I answer what he said to her question? That I haven't been informed well how to conduct my business. I did attend the classes for ABC. I have some information. It's nothing. I know some, but because I have attended the ABC classes. I'm sorry, but I didn't get her question or her response to his question. Can you repeat your question?
I think I'm losing my train of thought now. But I just wanted to get more informed on why is it that in the 8 years he hasn't complied with what's needed to keep the business running.
Ella está preguntando que por qué usted... Hold on. ¿Por qué usted no se ha informado más porque en esos 8 años? ¿Por qué no ha cumplido con lo que se necesita continuar con su negocio?
Pues porque yo he pensado que está todo bien. La razón es que yo he pensado que está todo bien. Si me dicen algo que tengo que hacer, pues voy y lo hago, pero cuando no sé...
He's thought to this point that he was operating correctly. And if we tell him or somebody tells him to do something, he's done it.
It hasn't really become an issue until entertainment was involved. I mean, it just operated as a restaurant with beer and wine. So, you know, that's generally we do not have problems with that type of a permit. So that's kind of gives you an example of once the entertainment is put into it, it becomes a potential issue.
Is this something that just fell through the cracks on the staff part and on his part?
I think at this
you know,
stage,
yeah.
yes. I mean, he was informed that he needed an administrative use permit when he originally came in for his business license, and then we just didn't follow up. So, you know, it's probably a little bit of both of our problems. But he was always operating as a restaurant with beer and wine, and there just never was anything that raised a flag of it being a problem.
Right.
So until this year when he started having entertainment. So that's kind of what triggered it, and the research that, you know, then we discovered that he didn't come in, you know. So anyway, it fell through the cracks.
And when he started having entertainment and someone complained,
Yeah, then
brought it to your attention.
Then
the
it brought
staff.
it to the police got involved, and we got involved, and that's why it came to you.
Right. Other questions? Rick?
Just real quick, how long ago did you tell him about the Corona banners and so on?
I believe that was sometime in July.
Was he expected to take them down immediately? Was he given time to do that, or?
The conditions give him, I believe, a couple weeks to 30 days to get those down, but it was indicated that he needed to take those down when we met with
Has the
him.
applicant, can I ask the applicant, has he taken those banners down, the Corona banners?
Ya los quité.
Thank you.
Can I follow up on that?
Yes.
I went by today. The stringer pennants are still up. Are those part of the, okay. And also, while I was in your restaurant, I noticed broken windows. And when I stepped out of my car, there was broken glass on the ground right next to my vehicle. It looked like beer bottles were broken. So, I mean, I'm a little concerned about their establishment, how well it's maintained. I think I saw like 3 or 4 broken windows on the side of the building by the patio. If you're facing the front door to the right-hand side.
Translation?
Sus pennants o sus volantes todavía están allí, y también cuando estuve en su restaurante noté que había vidrio, y cuando había vidrio quebrado y parecía que eran botellas quebradas. Estoy un poco preocupado con este establecimiento, que bien está mantenido, y también había otras cosas al lado derecho de la puerta de enfrente.
Él dijo que habían por lo menos 3 ventanas rotas en el restaurante.
Pues mire, las ventanas seguido tengo que cambiar los vidrios porque, si ustedes saben, por ahí rondan muchos de los homeless y muchos dejan todo su tiradero ahí, botellas. Siempre amanecen botellas, bolsas, basura que dejan de ellos. Ahí rondan muchos vagos y me quebran vidrios, a veces se meten a robar. Yo tengo mucho problema con ellos. Parte puede ser del negocio, pero parte es de los que viven ahí. Hacen mucha basura y quebran botellas, hacen lo que quieren. No todo es del negocio.
Translation?
As you know, there's a lot of homeless around, and they leave their stuff, bottles. There's, in the morning, I find garbage bottles. There's a lot of vagrants around, and sometimes I get broken into. Part could be from the business, but also the vagrants, they create a lot of garbage. Not everything is from the business. Thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah.
Aurelio?
Yeah. How do you, you're requesting this for the DJ music and special events?
I'm sorry, I didn't capture the first thing. I heard DJ music.
Yeah. You're now just requesting for the DJ music and special events permit?
Ahorita nada más está pidiendo usted para el o karaoke o eventos especiales.
Sí, eventos, por ejemplo, los bautizos o cumpleaños y eso.
Yes, special events, birthdays, baptisms, special events.
How do you expect to continue to give food to the patrons that are going to be there on the special events?
¿Cómo planea usted continuar dar comida o servir durante los eventos especiales?
Por lo regular, cuando hay eventos especiales, se pone una estufa, es tipo buffet, y los del evento se están sirviendo la comida ellos por sí solos. Por lo regular es en el día, son horas en la tarde, pero a las 9, 10, hay veces se podría pasar hasta las 11, pero eso es, por lo regular es temprano.
Other questions for the
I'm going
applicant?
to translate back
Oh.
to English.
For the regularly, we place a type of buffet, and the guests are serving themselves. Regularly is in the day, in the afternoon, 9, 10, maybe 11, but not more than that. For the regular part, it's early. Thank you.
Do you understand the difference between the license that you have, which is a Class 41, and the Class 47, which the police department has been talking about?
¿Usted sabe la diferencia entre el tipo 41 y el tipo 47, las licencias?
Pues, a ver, lo que entiendo, la 41 es para un negocio, para un restaurante, por ejemplo. La 47 es como para un centro nocturno, ¿no? Es lo que yo entiendo.
He understands that type 41 is for a type of restaurant with sales of beer and wine. 47 is a type of nightclub.
Okay. And with that, the DJ music, you want to have DJ music just on a regular standard event on your own, or with the events?
¿Usted planea tener el DJ con sus eventos especiales o eventos regulares?
Solamente cuando, como le dije, para las ocasiones cuando vayan clientes que quieran tener música en su evento. Ya lo habíamos dicho, el cumpleaños o bautizo, algo así es regular, es por lo que más va.
Yeah, and the reason I ask you this is because I want to make sure that you understand that if this is approved, the DJ music doesn't mean that you can have DJ and dancing and open to the public. That's not what's being talked about here.
He answered the question saying that he understands that it's only for his special events. Y si le entendió que él ha dicho que es solamente, no lo puede tener como un evento especial de DJ nada más.
Claro.
My last question: How are you gonna close your establishment for these special events? for the baptisms or birthday parties?
No, por lo regular se cierra una sección para los del party y lo demás el restaurante está trabajando regular.
So you expect to run an event and your regular work restaurant on the extended hours?
Sí, lo que pasa que en veces son solamente 10 personas, en veces 15. En algunos casos, si son muchos, pues se usa todo el restaurante y pues no entran los clientes, pero esos casos muy aislados. Por lo regular son 20 personas, 30, 40 máximo, pero ellos están en un área y los clientes en otra. Está trabajando el restaurante normal.
One last one. And how long have you been, before they caught you with your entertainment, how often were you doing those events before you got caught?
Antes los hacía, pero hubo un tiempo que saqué el permiso de cada año.
La pregunta es de los eventos. ¿Cuántos eventos tuvo anteriormente antes de que se le dijera que necesitaba un permiso? ¿Cuántos eventos tuvo o cuántas ocasiones como karaoke tuvo?
Serían unas...
O tiempo más bien.
Serían unas 8 o 9 veces.
But 8 or 9 times before he got the permit or applied for the permit.
Other questions?
I got
Marty?
one. Since, have you the video surveillance up yet? Is it running?
Solo adentro, por ahorita, y me van a instalar afuera.
Only in this inside, and I'm going to install the outside.
And my follow-up question, has all your staff been leads trained yet?
Todos.
En eso estamos, desde cuando me recomendó Susi que lo hiciéramos, estamos trabajando en eso.
Since Susie recommended, we are working on that.
Other questions? Muchísimas gracias. Thank you. This is a public hearing. I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience who wants to address the Planning Commission on this item? I'd like to close the public hearing and bring it up to commission for discussion and/or recommendation. Recommendation, discussion.
I mean, I think my first concern is alcohol with minors in there after 10 o'clock at night. So I'd like to make a motion approving the administrative use permit PP 2013-153, allowing the establishment of a restaurant with beer and wine sales with hours until 10 p.m. without entertainment.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I would just like to say a couple quick things.
Sure.
Number one, it's tough to run a business. We all know that. And to be successful at it and these types of things, I'm sure generate revenue for you. But I think the concern here is the history. We try and give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I think it is a good first baby step to go ahead and get you legal to begin with and get your actual permit to operate your beer and wine and closing at 10 o'clock. And from there, hopefully, maybe we can revisit this issue with some success, and this works out for you. Hopefully, maybe we can take another look at it. You can revisit this with a history of success, closing at 10 o'clock and having the beer and wine. Thank you.
Other comments?
Yeah.
Aurelio?
I actually, you know, of course, I would wish for your success in business, but also I'd like to see you go in to see about getting your license permit changed from a 41 to a 47 if you choose to try to go an entertainment process. I think that's a really important piece.
Other comments? I'm troubled by a decision that we made on Las Islitas restaurant. I remember we had a public hearing, the owner was here, and of the establishment, and then the owner of the property was here, and he vouched for the owner of the restaurant, good person, above board, blah, 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 blah. And then we learned that the business was cited for use permit violations on the weekend of August 19th, overcrowding, sales of alcohol to minors, and sales of alcohol without food. And I remember we said, fine, go ahead, do it. We really support you. And so given that, I'm really having second thoughts about not just this business, but other businesses. And as the police officers mentioned, 10 o'clock, it's like people turn into pumpkins or something like that, demanding alcohol, but no food. And that's when trouble happens. And again, I'm concerned about the police spending hours on these establishments after 10 o'clock because of alcohol-related problems. Sales to minors, fights, whatever it might be, when you should be doing something else and not having to deal with these issues as a police force that's already stretched. So I concur with the motion and to approve the use permit to continue selling beer and wine until 10 o'clock without entertainment. Other comments or?
I share the same sentiments that I think that we need to look at what progress is being made, how what an effort he takes to educate himself about what's required and clean up the business and the parking lot and make it more family friendly, and then we could address this at a future time.
Can I make a comment?
Aurelio?
Yeah, just to follow up on what you're saying. You know, I think it's important that we look at this because in the future, going to be coming back to us again, just like the Islitas. And one of the things that I was looking at was, okay, if one of these facilities, one of these businesses doesn't follow the required ordinance that was given to them, I asked the question, what happens, you know? And according to, they get a warning the first time. And then the follow-up is a fine. And I think if we continue to look at these issues that are coming up, I think we need to make the owners responsible at the beginning. And I'd like to make a recommendation to the city council, hopefully look at something that would bind them more to being responsible. Because, you know, we give them these entertainment permits, and then I can do anything I want now. And what do? Get fined $100 the first time? You know, warning, and the second time it's a fine. You know, for them, $100 one night, you know, they cleared that, no problem, okay? All it's doing is causing more problems for our administration and taking that time to follow through, continuing looking into this establishment to see even if they're following the rules that have been set on them. And I feel that if we tell them, you know what, there's going to be a fee or the fine has to be brought up so they can be made responsible, so they can say, this is gonna hurt me in my pocket if I sell to a minor, or if I overcrowd it, or if I don't sell food, you know? Otherwise, we're gonna have these people just come back, repeat, and our police officers are gonna be going to those locations and not utilizing their time. So that's my sentiment on this. I think we need to look at them further, and it's one of those things that I think we should have continued studying the ordinance to see how we can adjust it. Unfortunately, the city council decided not to, so, and I'm hoping they may take a look at it again.
Any other comments on the motion? Any questions? Yeah, roll call, please.
Corley,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Castillo,
Yes. Excuse me, Commissioner Gillis, Doby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jenkins came in.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're going to explain to them what just passed? Okay. I just want to make sure he understands.
Yeah.
Si no entendió bien o tiene alguna pregunta, por favor venga con nosotros mañana a la oficina y le podemos hablar en español. ¿Ok? Gracias.
I just have a question before we move on to the next item. Las Islitas, they were cited. What is the procedure? What happens? Do they get 2, 3, or
Well, they're subject to a 6-month review.
6 months review?
So you will get them in a couple of months, and at that time, we'll bring you a summary of what transpired in those 6 months, and you will get to make a decision whether to continue to give her the hours on the entertainment permit or to take it back.
Thank you.
Now, do we have to wait 6 months if something keeps coming up?
No, you don't, but you did it in May, and it's almost due.
Yeah, it's due in November, and generally we give people a warning to, inform them that they need to follow the regulations, and the police might want to talk if there is any. We haven't heard that there's additional issues, may have been a one-time thing, but, again, we give people the benefit of the doubt, and then,
Yeah.
if it becomes a systematic problem, then that's when you'll hear about it. So, we figure the 6 months gives them enough time to try and work out the management issues, because it's complicated.
And what the Planning Commission has done in the past is go like, okay, another 6 months. It's not like it's a one-time 6 months and then you're off the hook. So you can say, okay, we want to keep watching it for 6 more months or 4 months.
Thank you. Do we go back to 5.2 or no?
I'd recommend that you go to the next item and put Abe's at the end.
Okay. 5.4, a public hearing to consider review and modification of administrative use permit through application to allow the establishment of a restaurant, D'Angelo's, with beer and wine sales, with extended hours and weekend nighttime entertainment at 353 Main Street, filed by the applicant, Ana Maria Zavala. We'll first have staff presentation.
Thank you, Chairman Castillo, members of the Commission, Susie Mary McGinn. D'Angelo's has been in business under the current ownership for approximately 2 years. The owners are wishing to expand the hours of operation on Friday and Saturday nights with the allowance of live entertainment, which includes karaoke, live music, and other things. The restaurant's current use permit allows them to be open till 10 o'clock during the week and 11 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They are proposing to keep the 10 o'clock closing Sunday through Thursday and be open till 1 o'clock a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Again, like our previous application we just heard, staff is concerned with the late hours for a Type 41 license, and that this is going to operate more like a nightclub with minors. And again, we have referred this to the Planning Commission due to the request for extended hours and entertainment on the weekend. So the floor plan of the restaurant, it is right on Main Street, across from the plaza. It has a kitchen sort of in the front area, a dining room, and then a large open area to the rear. It has a back exit onto Stoser Alley. The applicant has installed a video surveillance system with cameras located throughout the restaurant and pointing out the back door as well as out the front door. The business owner is well versed in the operation of the system and would be able to make copies of any video for the police department on request. As we went through previously, ABC issues various licenses for the sale of alcohol, and the Type 41 allows sale of beer and wine with food. Minors are allowed to enter and remain on the premises at all times that the business is open, and food must be provided during all hours that the business is open. The police department has reviewed the business. There have been no violations here. They've indicated that if the back door is locked, 1 security guard would be sufficient. If the rear door is open, then 2 security guards would be required at either end of the business during events. Again, we're not making a recommendation on this proposal because we do not have regulations in the alcohol ordinance pertaining to restaurants with Type 41 licenses with nighttime entertainment past 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the evening. So you can either approve or deny the major modification for weekend entertainment and extended hours till 1 o'clock. If you do choose to approve the application, we've got similar conditions that are proposed on this as a previous, including a designated manager for all nights that entertainment is happening, and that manager's name and contact information be on file with the police department. Just go through this again, that there's adequate ventilation and exiting, the entertainment permit, servers have to be 21, that they have security guards, they can't sell alcohol without the purchase of food, lead training for all management and servers. And that concludes my staff report.
Any questions for staff?
I have one. Do we know if the outside security cameras are working? That's on the outside of the building?
You know, I would defer that to the applicant. I believe that the ones on the outside, I think all of his cameras, he showed us all of the video for his cameras, and all of them were working. If there are ones outside of his lease space on the building, those would be owned by the property owner, so I'd have to check on that. But I would ask the business owner.
Other questions for staff? Aurelio?
Yeah. Now, the entertainment permit, he can request one and keep in the same hours?
The Planning Commission has the ability to modify the conditions really in a variety of ways. If you wanted to look at allowing entertainment within the existing hours, he can also get an annual entertainment permit from the police department.
So we can make a recommendation or
Yes, you can do that.
Other questions for staff? Rick?
On this, I think this is at the corner, if I'm correct, on Main Street. So the parking for these establishments is the garage, the city garage? And how late can you park in the city garage?
It's not quite on the corner, but it is right. It backs up right to that parking garage in the back.
Right now, the one that's right in the back closes at 10, but at our next discussion, we're talking about extending the hours of that garage till 12:30. The other garage is open 24 hours, the one behind the library. So that is another option. It's not as close, but.
Thank you.
So I got one quick question. On the last use permit, we required them to get leads training. Did they receive that training?
I believe he did. Actually, yeah.
Condition is on this project as well.
I just want to make sure they got it the last time.
Yes, and that permit required them to come back to the planning commission if they want live entertainment with their current hours, just to clarify.
Aurelio, did questions for staff?
Excuse me?
Did you have a question for staff?
No, I just had that recommendation.
Oh,
If we
okay.
can make that, I can make that recommendation that the establishment be allowed to have entertainment, but within the same working hours.
Other questions for staff?
One more, sorry.
Marty?
They have a type 41 license right now. So if they went out and got a type 47 license, would they be allowed to maintain their establishment there under the city ordinance?
Are you referring to whether they meet the separation requirements? We would have to look at that. I don't believe that they would.
No, they wouldn't because they're right across from the park. That would axe it, 300 foot.
So on the type 41, there's no space requirement, correct?
Type 41, there's no space requirement, no. But again, this may be one of those things where the council's looking at an entertainment district. Some of those separation things would probably be reduced if there's actually a desire for the council to create something like more entertainment in the downtown district. So those are the things that we would have to study in more detail. But in regards to current application, it would not be consistent with the ordinance.
Other questions for staff?
I guess the type 41 pretty much leaves it up to us what we want to do. There's no guidance from the alcohol ordinance.
Except that they need to serve food. I mean, that's a difficult thing to, especially at 1 o'clock, to enforce. So 11 o'clock, you still have the potential of making it work. I'll talk about it in a little bit more detail with the next application. But anyway, it's one of those kind of tricky issues.
At staff level, we have gone back and forth because of this gray area. Logistically, in real life, when these are operating, obviously with the last two projects that we've dealt with extended hours and entertainment, it hasn't gone well. The police is not recommending that we approve it. So yeah, it's up to you guys.
Other questions for staff? Jenny?
You mentioned on the report that they have a back door, and I've been at the restaurant before. That back door does not need to be open at all times or unlocked, I should say?
It needs to have a safety exit. It doesn't have to be open from the outside. They have to be able to get out of that door from the inside. So that the safety issue is that they were able to open it from the inside.
So what happens if they have a large crowd and that door is open to let other people in? Because they're required to have only one security guard, right?
That would be a violation of their use permit, basically, if they opened that back door to let people in.
Or other clients, customers.
Right. I mean, there isn't anything preventing people from going out that door. That's the difficulty in regards to monitoring it. You can make it as like an emergency exit and have it, make a noise if somebody goes out that direction, and that's probably what you would have to do to make it just an emergency exit only.
Other questions? I have a question for staff. A few doors down from D'Angelo's is El Alteño restaurant bar. What are the hours for, do you know just offhand?
I believe on the weekend they have hours till 1.
And do you know if they have entertainment or?
They do.
They do? And that's been approved by?
Planning Commission as well as the entertainment permit through the police department. But
I don't know when that happened. I don't remember.
There's a background to that. El Alteño at the beginning had a lot of problems, and The commission made them close at 9, worked with Del Alteño every 6 months coming in until they finally felt that the owner of the restaurant understood what, and so they finally gave it to her after a couple years of coming back, and it hasn't been a problem since. But there were a lot of hiccups for the first couple years.
They also have a different type of license, correct?
Yeah, because they also serve
They
distinct
have liquor.
spirits.
Yeah, it's a 47,
So they have a 47,
a 47 license.
which permits
Yes.
late-night entertainment.
Yeah.
And so they're open till 1, and
But they haven't had the standing room only, everybody's drinking entertainment that they used to be the problem.
has there been any police issues with El Alteño and late night, do we know, or?
Not recently, no.
Not recently.
I just mentioned that just in terms of comparison. Any other questions? Dobie?
I have a question for the police again, please. Officer Green,
Yes, sir.
Is there a progression of problem as we go later into the evening, say from 10 to 11 to 12 to 1, with respect to establishments serving beer and wine and having entertainment?
I would say, based on my experience, that's a fair
The
assessment.
later we go, the more problems we have.
Indeed. Yeah, that's correct. Typically the crowd at 10 o'clock seems to be a little bit different than they are at 11:30, 12, 12:30. As the alcohol continues to flow, the service of food diminishes, and there's an effect that takes place, and we see that for sure in our calls for service.
Thank you.
Other questions for staff? Police, staff? Ana Maria Zavala, you want to make a presentations? Or address the Planning Commission?
Respetables miembros de esta Comisión de Planeación de la Ciudad de Watsonville, mi nombre es Ana María Zavala, él es Daniel Paniagua. Somos propietarios de D'Angelo Restaurant and Bakery, localizado en el 353 Main Street. Primero, quiero agradecer la oportunidad de presentar mi caso y las razones por las cuales estamos pidiendo un cambio en nuestro permiso administrativo, en extender nuestras horas de servicio los días viernes y sábados. También quiero hacer notar que su personal de planeación ha estado trabajando con nosotros de una manera muy profesional y amable, revisando nuestra petición. Como todos nosotros sabemos que operar un negocio en el centro de la ciudad necesita bastante energía y el implemento de nuevas ideas para atraer clientes a nuestros establecimientos. En nuestro caso, las razones siguientes nos han llevado a pedir esta modificación en nuestro permiso de operación. Nuestras ventas han experimentado una reducción durante los últimos meses del año 2012 y parte del 2013. Poco o reducido tráfico de clientes en el centro de la ciudad durante las noches de fin de semana. Clientes están buscando más lugares donde pueden disfrutar de una buena comida y al mismo tiempo tener la posibilidad de entretenerse. Siempre recibimos de nuestros clientes actuales pedidos o si existe la posibilidad de usar nuestro espacio para sus eventos personales como bautizos, 15 años, bodas en pequeña escala, en la cual ellos pueden utilizar el servicio de restaurante y nuestras instalaciones. Estas 4 causas nos hacen entender las necesidades de nuestro negocio y la de nuestros clientes que están buscando por opciones locales antes de planear hacerlas en áreas fuera de esta ciudad. Nosotros creemos estar preparados para poder servir parte de la demanda, la cual beneficiará a nuestro negocio, incrementando nuestras ventas y ofreciendo un establecimiento seguro en todos los aspectos de operación. Nuestro plan es el siguiente: extender nuestras horas de operación los días viernes y sábados hasta la 1 de la mañana. Nuestra operación se determina en la base de vender nuestros platillos un poco tarde en el centro de la ciudad como una opción más para traerlos a nuestro lugar. Las bebidas siempre han estado controladas en nuestro establecimiento y continuaremos en ese mismo nivel. Proveeremos a nuestros clientes un lugar que está cumpliendo con requisitos de seguridad y agradable para disfrutar de una buena cena. Un poco de música en el establecimiento. Seguridad será prioridad, por lo cual tenemos un sistema de vigilancia a través de un sistema de cámaras. Hemos contratado servicios de agencias de seguridad que ofrecen sistemas de verificación de identificación, al mismo tiempo que tienen detectores para registrar a los clientes en eventos especiales. No servimos bebidas sin alimentos, es nuestra política. Para eventos especiales, nosotros ofrecemos el servicio completo de restaurante y lo que nos permite nuestra licencia de alcohol. Cumpliremos con el requisito que los empleados que sirven o manipulan las bebidas alcohólicas son mayores de 21 años. Siempre estará el gerente de turno para los eventos especiales. La información de este gerente está en los registros de la policía para contactar en caso de emergencia. Continuaremos con entrenamientos de alcohol y drogas. Y tenemos nuestros certificados de LEED como parte de nuestra operación normal para todos nuestros empleados, gerentes o nuestro personal de servicio. Agradecemos su atención.
Gracias. Translator, they've got it written here. So do you just want to pick it up and read it? They've got it.
I've got it recorded.
Oh, you've got it recorded?
I've got it recorded.
Okay.
And I will play it and speak as she spoke.
Are you ready to translate?
I am ready.
Okay.
Hello, members of the commission. My name is Ana Maria Sabela. It is Paniagua, sorry. We are the owners located in Main Street. First, I'd like to thank you that I'm here presenting my case, and we are asking for a change in our permit and to extend our hours. Also, I want to say that your planning department has been working with us in a very professional way, looking at our petition. Like everybody knows that it is very hard. We need a lot of energy to conduct our business and lots of ideas to bring clients to our establishment. In our case, we have been asked to have this change in our operation. Our sales have declined in the last months of 2012. And the reduction of clients and the nights of the weekend. And clients have been looking for more locations with good food and the possibility of entertainment. We have received requests for use of our establishment for events, quinceañeras, bautizos, baptisms, and where they can use our services as a restaurant. These four causes, they've made us see the need for our clients and that are looking for options local and before doing their events outside the city. We want to be ready to serve that demand, and that will benefit our business, and of course, improve our sales and have a establishment, our plan is the next. Extend our hours of operation on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays till 1, and serve our dishes to attract them in our establishment. Our sales have always been controlled, beer sales. We will provide our clients an establishment that will comply with security and be happy event. Our security will be priority. We have a system of monitoring. We have a security company that identifies and the IDs. Also, they have detectors for detecting people who come. We do not serve drinks without food. For our special events, we have the proper or the full restaurant services. We will comply with and that manipulate drinks that would be older than 21. The information of this manager will be available to the police department. We will continue with training for alcohol, and we have our certificates for lead for our also for our employees and our manager. We appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Marty?
Just a couple questions and things. My main concern is, you know, when you have alcohol and you have minors involved, have you thought about maybe wristbanding the people over 21 so they stand out? It'd be easier for you to locate them if we decide to do this.
Actually, yes. We have to be working, especially in events, not even to be public when we have entertainment. Actually, we're looking for open hours.
Sí, estamos viendo en horas abiertas.
You know, because people come and asking for the space, open space, the area, and they want to be making event inside the restaurant. Actually, if we can get the permits, we have to be close the restaurant to these guys, and actually we have option to the guards still in the restaurant for these things, and not even open for public if we can have special events in here.
Then my follow-up question would be, if we did decide to do the entertainment, what effect if we kept the hours what it was and not extend the hours, but allow you to have entertainment?
Well, the thing is, we don't have really people come inside the restaurant if you don't have if you don't listen music. We have a few experience in the not the restaurant has to be entertainment or live music. They have different people coming in, and we try to keep the people coming in and enjoy the time, and we have a trainee to control, you know, most of the people inside.
I don't think so either. So say we approve your permit for entertainment, but we told you still have to shut down at 11 o'clock. And we didn't extend your hours to 1.
Well, the thing is, we have, you know, if we can, we actually we have we close the permit to close 11 o'clock. If we don't have the open hours to 1 o'clock, people come, and usually the party or the special event start 7 to 8, and they have 5 hours to enjoy the time and keep the food, and then we have time to close to usually to 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock we have off, not sell alcohol to 12 o'clock. And they have time to clean it up and everything and leave the people going in the time. But if you don't have much time to close late, the people don't come. They come to my neighbor.
So you wouldn't like that idea?
It's good, and I like that. But the thing is, we have to be keep extended a little more time to the people.
Well, I kind of like the baby steps here. I'm looking to see if we could go baby steps here and maybe look at entertainment permit, but still have you shut down at 11.
Yeah, people don't, because we have the neighbor. The neighbor is so close to 1 o'clock. If this guy is coming and start the party 8 o'clock on the night or the afternoon to 7. If the neighbor has to be open hours late, the people have to be come to the other statement, the other business. That's what I start here, because we have offer to different people come and they want to be make a party inside. But they have to be, I told the guys, we start close to 10 o'clock because I have a time to clean. So I have to be 1 hour to clean everything.
But can't they stay open to 11 and clean afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah. So you could stay open to 11 and clean after 11 o'clock after you shut down.
Yeah, but that's what I told the owner or the guy where they come to make the party. I told, you asked her to 10 o'clock, that's all. No more. And then drink whatever you buy and start eating the food or whatever, and then go. But they have a chance, the time to end the party.
Other questions? Joby?
It's my understanding that you folks have had the restaurant with a 41, a class 41. And do you have a 47 also at this time? No, a 41. And there have been no untoward incidents. We have no police reports of events there in having that. So we're going to do some formal entertainment, and we're requesting that service of alcohol and food would go on to 1 a.m. in the morning, because that's similar to what's down the street at El Teño. I think I would be tempted to go to amend your proposal to midnight, 12 midnight. And could we set this for a 3 or 6 months period and then review it and see what happens going to midnight for 3 months or 6 months? I mean, because you've been there for 2 or 3 years as the current owners and operators of this space. But I'm concerned about the later we go, the more problems we have. But if things go well for this period of time, if this is approved, then you can come back 3 to 6 months and say, well, we'd like to go to 1 a.m. But that's my comment. That's my kind of feel on this application at this time.
Yeah, and also we don't have to be, every weekend. We have only one of the month, maybe not of the month, nothing also. The thing is we have to be the option to the people to keep at the restaurant, not even every weekend, once of the day.
Aurelio?
Yeah, again, the concern for me here again is the quinceañera. Quinceañeras have been notorious for a lot of problems because they attract a lot of young folks, especially when they find out that it's a quinceañera. And of course, they invite the friends of their friends. But that's a concern for me, all these, when an establishment's having an event like that. But again, like my recommendation was that we permit, we give you the entertainment part, but maintain you with the same closing hours. I mean, because I'd really like to see you have some entertainment there during the day, so you can have music and still close at 11 o'clock and be successful. And these are the small steps I think we should be taking to make sure that you're successful in your business.
Yeah. Also, we're looking for something a little bit late. Doesn't matter. Like he said there, like David, it's 12 o'clock. That's good, no problem, because we have an option, and we can keep that thing's working, no problem.
Do you understand the concern that the police officers have in regards to that after the 10 o'clock? When folks start showing up to your location, if you have DJ or karaoke and they start showing up after 10 o'clock, they're really not going to go there to eat. They want to go there to have a good time. And that's kind of a different type of establishment. That's going more to a nightclub environment. And you're just licensed for a 41, beer and wine and food.
Yeah, and I apologize for the police. The police department has to be a lot of work. I understand that thing too. And we can keep working with him and a little help, whatever they like to do. If they require more guards, we have one each door. That's no problem. Usually if you have 50 people, we have 2 guards. The space on the inside in the restaurant is not much. We can keep 2 guards each door. That's good. If they need more, we can keep more. That's no problem.
Now, do you understand that you're not going to be allowed to use that back area for dancing?
That's what I have to see what's the main word, because entertainment and the DJ or karaoke, that's not keeping dancing floor, and I don't have dancing floor in the restaurant, but the people want to be listen music. That's what we try to do something different in the restaurant.
Okay, because if you were going to have a special event, say a reception of some sort, and the folks are going to utilize your restaurant for this special event, they're going to want to dance.
Yeah, and actually, I can talk to the guys. Yeah, you can dance in here. I can go and stop the people. If they listen music, I can say, hey, you can dance in here. Only listen to music. That's what I had to be. Do something a little bit forward to do that things. A little bit of control on that.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you understood that part.
Yes, exactly.
I just want to clarify, the old use permit, the current one that he has, did not allow that back area to be used for anything. This modification would allow the back area to be used for entertainment and that kind of thing. So that's part of what this modification application is for.
Does that include dancing?
Yes.
So they would be able, okay. Thank you.
Other questions for the applicant? Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience who wants to come up and address the Planning Commission on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and bring it up to the commission for discussion. It looks like we got some possibility for keeping the hours the same, but approving the administrative use permit to allow weekly entertainment. But Doba thinks that maybe we should extend it to midnight. Down the street is El Alteño, and they open till 1 o'clock, except that they've got a 47 license, not a 41. So do we stay with 11? We'll give them a break. They'll come back in 3 to 6 months. 6 months, yeah.
I would recommend 6. What is it? I would recommend 6 months, just because it takes a little bit for people to find out it's happening and get going.
I mean, me personally, I like the idea of allowing an establishment to have entertainment, but I'm really concerned about the hours. So I mean, me personally, I'd like to see you get your entertainment and maybe start working up, showing us and the rest of the city that you're able to run it smoothly without any issues, and come back and see us in 6 months and we start looking at your hours.
Is there a motion? 11, 12 seems to be the,
What are they currently right now? 11?
at 11, yeah.
11 right now, aren't they?
You have a lot of clientele at 11?
Actually, we had to be.
You're clearing people out at 11 o'clock?
To 12, to 12 that'd be good because we have a chance to people to we have little competition on beside, and they have a space inside, but people don't want to stay. We open hours 9 to 8 to 10, 11, but usually people come a little late. But if the party start at 8 o'clock, he want to stay 5 hours to eat in, keeping the people enjoy the time, cake or whatever, and they have like 12 o'clock. That'd be good, no problem. 1 hour more is different on my restaurant.
Gotcha. Thank you. Trying to understand
Can I
whether
make-
it's worth
make a
increasing the hours.
recommendation? See if this-
Recommendation, a motion?
That we allow the entertainment with the exception of Saturday, extending the hours to 12 o'clock, only for Saturday?
But allow entertainment till 12 on Saturday? Oh, okay.
Only on Saturday, yeah.
Entertainment only on Saturday.
No, entertainment during the week, regular closing hours, except Saturday would be his extended hour.
Can we ask the police officers what they think and how hard that would be to maintain? Just
In our opinion, my opinion, it's challenging. Although on the surface it may not seem so, because it's one day, right? As I said earlier, the environment changes. And for us to police an establishment that has extended hours with alcohol, entertainment on a regular basis, it becomes challenging for us because, as I mentioned before, the people change. And not only, an establishment may have 2 guards or 3 guards, but what are those guards actually doing? Are they watching the patrons? Are they watching the employees? Are they watching the outside of the business? It just takes a lot of time for us. So for us, it does have an impact. So we would have to be responding to those calls for service or even just doing area checks. So I guess I would say my position is the same, just because I've been there, I've seen it. So. Any other questions?
I just have one, officer. What do we do then? I mean, these folks, obviously we have 3 of these. So folks are looking for this. I mean, they're looking for entertainment. And, we're trying to balance that. We're trying to find that middle ground. But the fact that we have so much desire for this, it appears that there's a demand for it. And I understand your position too. We're trying to find, under that circumstance, we would reject everybody that came through this process then, right? I mean, that's theoretically, nobody deserves the extended hours with the 41 license then so we have to try and find those applicants that we might be able to work with. In this type of situation, have you had any experience with this particular establishment? Is there any of this that you think is doable? I mean, what would you suggest to us as conditions then to make this work for the business? What could we do to make it happen for them? What restrictions would you suggest?
I think that it really comes down to the owner and how responsible are they willing to be. I spoke to an owner of a bar/restaurant from out of town, And I asked her, why don't you stay open later? You have so many people coming here. The food's great. You have alcohol. Why don't you stay open later? You can make a lot more money. And her response was, well, with a lot more money comes a lot more headaches, right? And she kind of put things in perspective for me. And I thought, well, you know what, here's a responsible owner who would do really well. But she recognized that with the later hours, there's added responsibility because now she has to watch the patrons. She has to make sure that her employees are okay. She has to have bouncers. She has to have all these added things, video cameras. So I think that looking at it from different perspectives, different angles, is a good thing. And how do we do it? That's the hard question, right? Baby steps, I like that. Why not work in baby steps and see what it is that these owners, these businesses can do for us? I think too often we get caught up in our own agendas. So for me, police work, right? But you're right. How do we get there? And I think collectively we could do it. But I think it comes down to the owner and what is the owner really willing to put into it. And I think baby steps is probably the best way to go about it.
Trust but verify.
What's that?
Trust but verify. Go ahead and give folks a chance and then make sure that they follow the rules and then give them a little bit more responsibility.
Absolutely. I think trust is huge with anything.
Bring them back every 6 months, get rid of the bad performers and try and work with those owners that actually can produce a viable business after 10 o'clock that's not costing the community resources.
Yeah, and I think that that's, if that's what the commission decides to do, and that's fair, then why not, you know?
So is there a motion on the table?
There's no motion, there's
No,
not yet,
it's
we're
just a
trying.
recommendation. Ideas.
We're trying to get there.
I think one of the motions possibly was to allow them the entertainment permit and not extend the hours. I think somebody said
That's what
that.
Marty, I think that's what Marty said. Dobie was talking about giving them up to midnight. Aurelio talked about giving them up
This Saturday.
to just Saturday.
Well, I'll make a motion.
Here we go, okay.
Get official.
I make a motion that we approve the major modification to PP 2013-76 of the administrative use permit PP 2011194 to allow weekend entertainment, period. No extension of hours. And bring it back in 6 months.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. With the conditions that's stated, a designated manager shall be on duty during all special events. All employees serving or selling alcohol shall be 21 years old. A yearly entertainment permit is required to be obtained from the police department. The business shall maintain adequate ventilation and exiting during all operating hours. A licensed security guard retained by staff to staff each event. No alcohol shall be served without purchase of food. LEAD training for all management and servers. And the hours of operation for the business, Sunday through Thursday, 10 to 9 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday, 10 to 11. Any comments or questions?
I just hope this passes and that you come back in 6 months and we have no issues and we start extending your hours. I mean, I hope this all works out for you, and I think it will. As long as you are willing to work for it, you'll be back here in 6 months and everything will be fine. And we're going to say, okay, let's try midnight. And in 6 months, maybe it'll be 1 o'clock in the morning. But it's going to be hard work on your part to make it work. And I hope to see you in 6 months.
Can we have a roll call?
Corley?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Castillo,
Yes. Thank you very much. Coming back and going back to 5.2, a public hearing to consider review and modification of administrative use permit through application to allow extended hours and weekend nighttime entertainment for special events at an existing restaurant, Appleton Grill, with beer and wine sales, type 41 license, at 30 West Beach Street, filed by Mr. Novan, applicant and property owner. We'll first have staff presentation.
Thank you, Chair Castillo, members of the commission and the community. Keith Boyle with Community Development Department. Mr. Novan is now here in attendance, and thank you for coming. And anyway, this is for 30 West Beach, which is the Appleton Grill, which is at the bottom of the historic Wall Street Inn at the corner of Rodriguez and West Beach, as shown here. The applicant has a restaurant with approval to sell beer and wine, a Type 41 license that was granted PP 2012-258. He's now requesting to modify the permit by adding weekend entertainment and extended hours for special events such as birthday parties, quinceañeras, wedding receptions, etc. Site is zoned CCA, Central Commercial Core in the downtown area. It's roughly 6,400 square feet with a seating capacity of 400 occupants. With the Type 41 license, again, food must be available during normal meal times, and food must be served with the purchase of alcohol, including special events. This is a floor plan of the area right now. The restaurant and the service area is here, the bar is here. This is the old historic Wall Street Inn. This area is the lobby right now, and these are the areas for the potential of entertainment or special events. And it's important to recognize we are taking Mr. Novan for his words that this is for private special events. And so the difference we're seeing in this one is that allowing the special events for private parties, they would not be open to the public. And those areas can be basically sectioned off. We'll talk about it in a little bit more detail later. This project is in the parking district. Originally, the Wall Street Inn was approved requiring parking permits for residents. There's 74 single-room occupancy units above this restaurant. And you have basically the tenants have signed that they understand there will be noise, and that's part of your packet, and we want to make sure that they were aware of what's being proposed. Part of the original permit was a requirement to get parking permits for residences that did have cars. That was 5 years ago. There has not been any permits required or obtained by the owner at this stage. The manager says there are right now 16 residents that do have cars. The adjacent property owner, Mr. Bill Hansen, has expressed significant concerns about people parking overnight in his parking lot. It's a private lot that is not a public area, and has indicated that he will begin towing people that are overnight in that location. So we, as part of this application, are requesting that the property owner obtain the parking permits for both the 16 residents that have cars and 4 employees that will be more than 2 hours at a time. We recognize that the existing hours at the Beach Street parking lot are problematic. That closes at 10. So I've been working with the parking manager to get this facility open until 12:30, so that we will have the ability to accommodate both the businesses that we're talking about tonight. And so as part of that, we will be proposing to extend the hours for that Rodriguez Street Garage from 6 a.m. to 12:30 in order to help promote the businesses downtown. The applicant is requesting to extend the hours. Right now he has closing at 10 p.m. for the restaurant, proposing to close it 12 a.m. on weekends when there is entertainment or special events for private events. It's important to recognize at this stage, we're recommending as part of the approval that the condition for a yearly entertainment permit, first they get the parking permits, but then they only be allowed for private events, not opening it up to a public nightclub type operation. If it was only open for public, we would recommend that they pursue the Type 47 license. So we think that in this case, when you do have a private event, they can keep food out and it's available at all times and they would comply with the Type 41 license type. So again, we're believing that the way that this facility is laid out with the nice historic flavor, the separated rooms, gives them the ability to actually function as a special event location and are willing to give this a try, recommend that we look at extending the hours on Friday, Saturday, Sunday to consider this. This has only been open for about a month, 2 months, has not had any current conditions or concerns with the police department. Talked to the chief. He's willing to consider this at this stage. And again, we're recommending the standard conditions of approval that we would for all the other things that we've talked about, the yearly entertainment permit for private parties only, the parking permits being required, interior and exterior video cameras, all employees being responsible for leads training, a capacity not to exceed 400 units, and review by the Planning Commission in 6 months to make sure that it is correct, along with the other standard conditions that we've already been talking about today. We are making a recommendation to change condition 13 in the packet that you were provided, the resolution. And that would say that a Type 47 license and additional permit modification be required if this project is open up for public use. So we are not recommending that this be open as a public facility. And so that is a recommended change to the conditions. So with that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the project based on the findings and conditions in the staff report with a modification of condition 13. Concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Keith. Any questions for staff? Toby?
Keith, could you clarify, is it the Beach Street parking garage or the Rodriguez
Street, the one that's right across from here. That's the one that has the shorter hours.
Right.
That's
right.
That's the Beach Street, sorry. I'm confused.
Okay, because Rodriguez.
It's getting late.
It's getting late.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Too much Labor Day.
I'll ask this question. Is this establishment able to get Type 47?
It would be probably close. I'd have to do the research. It's far enough away from the park, so you don't have the issues that some of those other ones that are directly downtown. So they could probably get a Type 47, but I'd have to check to see the other locations and businesses around. So I'm not sure of that yet.
My follow-up question to that is, they've been established for maybe a month and a half.
Yep.
Have they come back with leads training yet?
No. But you might want to ask if they've
Definitely.
attended.
Other questions for staff?
Jenny.
Sarmiento. Jenny.
I know it's getting long. Have we had any input from the homes, the apartment across the street, right by the metro? I know that there are a lot of families who live there.
It was sent to property owners, which would include the management of that property. So we have not heard from them. It's within 300 feet, so it's a standard notification. We haven't individually notified the residents of that property, but we would assume that the managers would have.
So when a business is looking at expanding their hours and adding some other services, I would imagine that they've done some kind of study to see who would attend their events, who would be securing their venue, or is that something that is just assumed or
I would
hoped for?
direct the question to the building owner, Mr. Novin, in regards to what his plans are.
Other questions?
Yeah,
Rick?
Keith, it seems that this is more plausible for you. You seem to, from the recommendations, obviously this is a more attractive project for the planning department. Why is that? What makes this one a little, what makes
Basically
you want us
because
to-
it has a facility that people could actually be attracted for weddings and special events to have a project, where the other ones feel, although, this we really feel provides a facility that people would be attracted to and attend an event. And the others, it feels more like, they're just having entertainment to get people there.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I do have to add that it is a beautiful ballroom. Yes.
Well, and as I understand it, the events are closed to the public. So if you're having a wedding, it's not like 10 people can crash your wedding. So you're keeping an eye, even as the person doing the party, it's your friends, it's the people you know. That's why it's different, because it's close to the public.
And the recommendation is just for special events, like
Just for special
weddings,
Not open-
anniversaries,
not open to the
for-
public at all.
Not open for karaoke
No.
or
No.
dancing or
Nothing that would be open to anything other than a private event. That's
private event, whatever it might be.
Right. That's
union, whatever, just.
That's what the applicant has requested and what we would hold him to.
And there would be these food as well as beer and wine, or?
Yeah, I mean, beer and wine plus, again, it would be like a catering. If you had a special event and you had a party, that you had food out at all times, basically, for people can go and graze when they wanted to have food. That still qualifies for the Type 41 concept. I have less problems with that, But if it turns into something that is not that, then we will be monitoring that to make sure that it's complying with their conditions. And the police I talked to Terry before this, and he was okay with this direction, because we had heard that, the issue about the Type 47. So if it translates to something other than what's being proposed, then the applicant would need to look at getting that different type of permit.
Other questions for staff?
Yeah, I have
Aurelio?
a question. In regards to the parking garage, the patrons of the special event would be allowed to
Park there for free, yeah. It's open to the public. That garage, you don't have to get permits, et cetera. It's a 2-hour limit right now, so if they were parking over, if it was a 5-hour event or something, they'd probably have to get a paid permit for it. But generally, it's a free garage, except for people that have long-term, like residential permits or office permits, where they're there for 12 hours. They can be there 12 hours a day if they have a parking permit.
Now, my question was leading to this, because reading through the information, the owner said that he was going to get in contact with the cab company for in case that anybody required a taxi cab. In the event that that does occur and the vehicle's left in the garage, that person's vehicle will still be there in the morning, or?
Yeah, it would be, again, the only thing that happens is the gate goes down and then it goes back up at 6 o'clock. So they couldn't access their car between 12:30 and 6 a.m. After 6 a.m., it's open again. So in regards to the modified hours that we're talking about.
Other questions? Dobie?
Keith, that Beach Street garage, is it free on Saturdays and Sundays?
No, there's a permit requirement over 2 hours.
I see. So it's not like the Rodriguez garage, which is free on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, there's no tags that you get on that one.
I'm not 100% sure, but at the same time, when somebody has a event in the community room, there's a fee that they can pay for their guests to park in this garage. So I'm sure a similar program can be developed with the other garage. So the parking we can work around.
But it has been indicated, and our parking manager knows that 10 o'clock is no longer acceptable for that garage. It needs to be opened later, and we're working to get that going as part of this process.
Just for the weekends, or
just for the, well, it's probably all week.
All week?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where the overflow from the transit center parking is, the Stag Hotel parking, and then the residents of the Wall Street Inn. So we want to have the garage open a little later for people because that is their parking, their overnight designated parking.
Other questions for staff? Thank you, Keith. Mr. Novan, can address the Planning Commission or take questions or both?
Sure. My name is Abe Novin, and I am the owner of the Pajaro Wall Street Inn, and also I opened my dream place for Watsonville because I raised my kids in this city, and I always wanted to do something back to the community, and I promise I do a good job. I think so far I have been success. I really wanted to really appreciate the city planning department to work very hard on that and to support me. We got a lot of hard job to make, and they support me 100% on that in any respect. And even the building department, which the hardest part, has been really very helpful to make sure that is getting done on timely basis and right. More important, the police department just has done an amazing job on that corner. The day which I was trying to put those glass around, and a lot of people, they laughing, and they says, do you know tomorrow morning none of those glass will be here? We prove it, this is wrong. And that happened with the help of the police. There is a reason, because we did have the meeting with the police department, very good meeting, and they did have some concern about the area, and we clear for that. I cannot be a police. Police has to do their job. Most of the time, the police ask us to do their job, and that's not right. But anyway, after those meetings, really a great job. Amazingly, the restaurant which is open, I did have different view of that, and it's become different. First of all, I live here in Watsonville 18 years. I saw so many faces which I never saw in Watsonville, especially on that area. A lot of people come from Sunset Beach, or they come from Pajaro Dune, and because I put the lag and find out where is the area which we are servicing, where are they coming. I tried to keep it that way, but I needed the help. I don't need the money to do such a thing like that. I do have property everywhere. I can take my money anywhere and make, but I wanted to do something in this city. So, first of all, I remember Susie, very helpful, very good friend. When I applied for that, even concerned about that, be careful, might not be a right area for a restaurant. So I have done it, and now I have to operate it the way which I want it. The reason which it is a beautiful building, historical. I promise you the people will come from Santa Cruz, they will come from Monterey. I promise you the people will come from San Francisco to have their wedding here. I can do that because there is nothing similar than that anywhere. So, and the kind of the pricing which we are planning is different. Is not planning to be high rise, to be try to make it very affordable for everybody, for the community. First of all, two things which I do needed to correct. Our operational operation hours is 7 o'clock in the morning because next week we are opening our breakfast. We wasn't not ready, and so but started by next week. And the second thing is we haven't opened the grand opening yet, but we cannot serve the people enough. We got enough customer not to serve, to be able to serve. So we are delaying on the grand opening until my staff to be ready. Quite honestly, it's very hard to find the right person. My other, so that is the proposal which we make. But my dream, it was not just to get the wedding and the restaurant. My dream was always my son. He is here by today. And all the time, my kids grow up in this city as run away from here. Where did they go? Santa Cruz. Why? Because they got something to spend the time. Why do we want it in this community to run the people away from this city? I don't know what's that. As a business, this city, we got to get the people here. I designed it in this area to put a special coffee and espresso coffee to make sure the people are not just coming for beer and wine for alcohol. Why do you think everybody wanted to come someplace and sit to drink and get drunk? That's not true. That is the way which they are misleading us. I would like to invite you guys. I can see, for the first time I see young people, they come and they order espresso at 10 o'clock at night. They order coffee. They order. So why do we are just concentrating a few people which they wanted to get drunk? So, no, I do apply for that. I wanted these people. I wanted the school people to come no alcohol night and have a nice night over there. I am going to advertise on that. No alcohol night, come here. We don't have to sell alcohol on that night. Let them come over there. Why do they have to go to the drug? Why do they have to get, I am sorry, even some kind of the drug which is getting legal. We are needed to make a little bit different. We have to trust other people in this community, not just distrust them. So my proposal a little bit has been changed. Maybe I didn't clear that for Mr. Keith and Susie. No, I wanted the event for all the time. All the time. I wanted to get the people to come over there and stay their night over there. There is a nice, beautiful fireplace. There is a fire pit. There is a nice area to sit there. Why should they go somewhere else and we let them go? Because some people, they get drunk. I'm so sorry. If it is, why do we sell alcohol? Abandon that. 50 years ago, we didn't have alcohol here. It was against law. We are giving the law and then we don't stop it, the people to do that. Regarding the 47 license, my license is 41. I research. I am very qualified about the area and everything to have 47 license. I'm not interested, sir. I am not really interested. I don't want it to have a bar. I don't want people to get drunk. I don't want that. Otherwise, I can afford and I am qualified. I can do that, but I really don't want it. I don't want you guys to get headache. I want it not just for Saturday, Friday. I want it anytime any event is coming. But mostly if somebody come for wedding, they are going to spend tons of money. They cannot. I mean, they are a classic place. They are going to wear nice. They are going to bring the history over there. I am building the history over there. I am not done yet. Later on, when the decoration is finished, you will see the life of the Watsonville. Watsonville was more advanced 100 years than now. I am printing all the nice historical picture of the beautiful city Watsonville and put it there. I choose Appleton. I didn't choose Abe Novin restaurant or Angola restaurant or Rogers restaurant because I wanted to bring that history here and build it. I am really would like to consider that and give me some reward on that, the kind of the job which I am doing. And I really appreciate, and my request again, Kit, it is not even somebody come Wednesday, wanted to have wedding, I cannot tell them no, we are just open for Saturday and Sunday. I am talking about the event. And definitely our source of income is food. I don't know why do they say serve alcohol with the food. No restaurant interested to just sell alcohol, at least if it is hard liquor, because the more money is coming out of that. So I am ready if there is any questions. Sorry, I get a little bit emotional on that.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
I have quite a few, actually.
Marty?
Sure. Let me get this straight. You're asking now that you want to be able to hold any type of event?
Yes, very much.
7 days a week?
Not for the wedding 7 days a week, but regular event, if there is no alcohol event for a student, will be 10 o'clock at night.
Okay. Will it be open to the public?
Yes.
Okay. Then my next question would be on this flyer you passed out to your residents.
I am so sorry.
The flyer you passed out to your residents and you
Yes.
had them sign?
Yes.
I'm just a little concerned that it just has one area where it just says, I acknowledge I've read this letter and am aware of and do not object to the sounds that are a result of patrons' music and daily activities of the Appleton Grill. There's no place on there if they don't agree. That kind of concerns me.
Why don't you guys write it then and give it to them, whatever you wish to write. That is our knowledge.
This is coming from you.
No, it's come for my office manager.
Okay.
She worked for me she's American, my language is not that good. I'll ask them this. If you feel there is something else needed to be written, I will be happy. Quite honestly, I didn't read it even. Now you are reading, because why?
If you didn't read it and you're submitting it to us, you might have an issue.
Why? Because
You're the owner, right?
We talk about that. We wanted to do it. And also, sir, we have just about 8 of those tenants, second floor, might be impact of the noise. As you know, that area, it is like a U shape. So on top of that is empty. So there is no room on top of that area.
Okay. And my next question is, I've been there 3 or 4 times, had lunch. It's
thank
great.
you very much.
Great food.
I appreciate it.
Do you have a restaurant in Colorado?
No.
I got my credit card bill, and I have South Park, Colorado on it.
I don't have any restaurant anywhere.
But I got my credit card, it says South Park, Colorado on it.
Probably this is a credit card company, which it is.
So this came from your staff. It has my signature on it that I got at your restaurant.
I don't understand, and I am not following you at all, sir.
Okay, so on the top of the credit card, it says my restaurant, 1 Main Street, South Park, Colorado.
Who is my restaurant? That's the only restaurant I have.
So
I really don't follow you,
Okay.
so I will be happy to check it and respect and find out, bring my manager here to find out. That's the only restaurant I have, and I don't follow you.
So you don't own a restaurant in Colorado? The reason why I'm asking, because I had other people ask me that they got the same bill and their credit card company called them and said, hey, you were in Colorado and you just got gas in Watsonville?
I really don't have, sir, anything, but this is the credit card company, which it is some kind of the credit company which we charge. I don't know, even Mercury, I believe.
So I
is
guess
something to do
you
with-
might want to see if your credit card company could change it and put Appleton's on the top.
I think that's a very good idea. If such a thing like that, we have to jump on that and correct that.
Other questions for the applicant? Aurelio?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In regards to the parking, you've had some time already to get the parking issue resolved. Why hasn't it been resolved?
Nobody asked us. As soon as you ask, we are ready to do that. Offer us, we accept that.
Was that stipulation in the special use permit when they came before?
Yeah, there was a requirement in the original permit to have enough parking permits for residents that had cars. And the answer has been nobody has cars, but we know that that is not the case. So at this stage, we are bringing it up because it has been an ongoing issue.
Any comment on that one?
Yes, usually there is nobody have car. Most of the time the tenant up there has been pretty kind of the homeless people. Nobody had a car. Since we have been cleaning up the place and updated the location, we are just getting a better tenant, quite honestly, and we have some people, they do have a car. Before that, nobody has a car to park anywhere. They have a lot of bicycle, which they take it up there, and as soon as the city requests us to get the, how many people they have a car, we just give them the list. And we was open for the idea if we have to list the parking.
Other question for the applicant?
Yeah, now.
Aurelio?
Yeah, trying to get this. So my understanding that what you want a permit to open up to public events.
Yes.
Okay. I have another question for you. And your facilities here, how would do you have an entryway to your residence, which has an entryway to the tenant B area that you're going to utilize for the private events that are being requested?
We just have one entry to the whole facility. It's coming from
I'm looking at the diagram that has been given to me, and I show an entrance into the residence, which shows an entrance into the tenants, and actually there's another exit by the elevator that goes to the corridor, to go to the bathroom, where there's an exit entrance to that tenant entrance.
So,
I'll put up the floor plan so we can see what we're talking about.
I think I count like 5 entrances.
It does have a lot of entry.
So my concern here is that there's only one guard, one entrance, but I see more than one entrance to this locality.
Actually, we thought about very well because it's very important for us to monitor who is coming in, who is going out. First of all, there is one entry from the main which go upstairs for the tenant, next to the elevator. And there is the entry for next to the stairs. This is alarm. It is fire exit only. And they cannot public to get out. Even the tenant, they cannot use that because there is an alarm system for that. So,
for the double doors?
No, the double door, they come in.
And then the other double doors?
That is locked. This is not door anymore.
That's not even a fire exit no
That
more?
is not a fire exit
That
at
doesn't
all.
exist no more?
The door exists, but it is not fire exits.
It's not a fire exit?
Not at all, sir.
Which one are we talking about, Abe?
If you look at your diagram, you have the main entrance to the residence.
Over here.
If you proceed straight, you have the next double doors.
Right.
Right.
He's saying that those are locked?
This is not a fire. This
Those
is
aren't
not
fire
exit.
exits no more?
Yeah, this is the fire corridor is this,
Yeah.
that
Now-
back
So-
area.
What I'm trying to get at too, I guess, is that when he's having these special events, you have an exit door on that corridor that services the bathrooms?
Right. No, they don't have to go that way because that door can get them to the bathroom. From the historical part of that, there is one exit. We go
Right,
to the
that
bathroom.
back, you see that back door to the corridor? That one right there?
Yes, that they able to get to the restroom, and also next to that there is another restroom on that hall. But for the extra restroom, they can go up there. Exit to the hallway.
So are these alarm doors?
All of those is
Are these-
alarm. Every single of those
So
are.
nobody can
are-
come in?
Nobody can go there because
They can just exit out?
exit out, and all they will be sound. And also the system, we put almost about $30,000 system for the coding, so nobody can just go inside because everybody will be with the card exit inside to come in and out. So
Okay.
So you said you put a carding system in
yes,
to get
it's
into that hallway?
everywhere, anybody come to the building, we did put the system which it was intercom. Unfortunately, very soon we find the code is go everywhere, and it was very hard to monitor the people. So we are working on that, and we'll be ready with couple weeks. So the intercom system is not activated. We are going to provide it with the card so they can go in. Even if they wanted to go with the elevator, they have to use the same thing to go up.
That is for the residents there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But the patrons that are there, if they need to go to the restroom, do they need a card?
No, they don't, because they are going some area which nobody else can go. Because there is a door, entry door, right? I'm sorry, it's very hard to explain. The door right next to the store, which fire alarm, and there is another door before final exit, which we got permit and we put it there. So eliminated that area, the people to go to any area. If the people come for the wedding, they are not able to go to the different area, but just in the restroom area.
Because I was walking up and down the hallway and walked into other spaces that wasn't locked or nothing.
Yeah, but
everywhere down on the bottom floor, I went in almost every room and checked it all out. I know on the restrooms you have a code. You have to enter a 4-digit code to get into the restrooms.
I don't know how long ago did you go there, but if you go right now, you will see next to those 2 restrooms, we got the permit last week. We added up another door next to that, and we installed all those. I will be happy to show you, and it's completely between last week to here is a big difference, and will be more different from here to about 2 weeks or 3 weeks until the system is completely up.
One of my major concerns is the amount of security guards that you have on site is just one. I don't think one could cover everything. I think you have a whole bunch of extra space so people get in and out. So, I mean, I know that's up to us. We could decide if we want to add an extra security guard. Correct, Keith?
I 100% agree with you, sir. I'm not disagree with you for that. That is why I am going to that expensive system to monitor that better. We learn by experience. And the tenant which I do have it now is completely different than the tenant which I did have it 2 years ago. We learn by the problem which we face. The second door which I got it last week next to the restaurant, and that is make a beautiful change on that area. The new system which is going to be finished by 2-3 weeks will be completely different story. So I agree with you, but that is why we are a step up to make it the different which I am doing that.
One more question.
Please.
On leads training, have your staff been taking the leads training yet?
I'm sorry?
Leads training from ABC?
Oh, they are having that. My manager has backstage restaurant for 22 years. My son was eating on her restaurant in Scotts Valley, one of the very, very high-class restaurant. My staff, everybody, there is 2. The lead manager, they do have it. Everybody, beside that, they get 8 hours class.
So have they done it, or are they?
They have. This is a code, actually, we have to follow by the health department.
So,
and any new is coming, they have to take it.
Okay, so are you going to turn in the certificates to the city of Watsonville so they can record them?
It is required, but it is available to health department, which we are working with.
I don't think the health department has anything to do with it. I think it's an ABC.
Really? Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's fine. I have no problem, sir.
Other questions for the applicant?
Not a question, but more of a comment. I mean, I was initially very supportive of having special events, but now it seems that this is an entertainment request. Is that correct?
That was not what was presented to me. I would not make that recommendation.
Staff recommends extended weekend hours and live entertainment for special events.
For special events only.
Yeah.
At this stage, it's a matter of trust, and I would do the baby steps with this just the same. Right. It was presented that this was going to be special events, private parties. See if that model works. If it's successful, then maybe consider something else along the way. But I would not open this up right now.
And what about the hours opening up at 7 a.m.?
7 a.m. is fine. And I'll make that change. It was a mistake in the presentation. It's already 7 a.m. on the condition. One of them is 10 a.m. Saturday, Sunday. I'll change that. It's not a problem.
Hours of the operation for the restaurant shall be Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m., and Friday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to midnight.
Correct. Well, I would change it from 7 a.m. to midnight on that Friday.
On Friday through Sunday?
Friday through Sunday, yeah. But I would not open Monday through Thursday at this stage.
So it's Monday through Thursday, 7 to
10.
To 10 p.m.
Yes.
And then Friday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to midnight.
Correct.
I have a question.
Yes.
We've addressed this issue kind of already once with the special events and the location with a license 41. What's the reasoning for allowing them? Well, what's the reasoning that you have for requesting to be open till midnight?
Well, basically, originally, if somebody come, I have been in a lot of wedding. I saw the people, they come. Usually, they wanted to stay longer. So that was the only reason. And if somebody tell them, hey, go home, just we give you some pizza and chicken wings, and then by 10 o'clock, just close it and close your wedding, I don't think will be very attraction to somebody. So anywhere we go, there is some hours. Even this is not just event. We do have, it might be some kind of the birthday party. It might be some meeting. We do have maybe, a lot of things could be happening over there if you tell them, okay, just make sure you leave here by 10 o'clock, and it might not be reasonable. I don't see any reasonable question. Somebody wanted to work.
But right now you're allowed to be open till 11 or 10? Just
We
10?
ask for that, not because we are not allowed. We request to open 10 because it's restaurant and there is nothing going on. That is not because they didn't accept that, because we didn't request more than that. And for the restaurant, it is very efficient. It's fine. But as soon as we get some event, definitely that hours change, because we needed to serve the food with alcohol if they are buying. So automatically that will go up. And we are not bothering anybody. There is insulated, is very, the area is not interfere for anybody's life.
Other questions for the applicant? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate.
This is a public hearing. I'd like to open it up to the general public. Anyone from the public wants to address the Planning Commission on this item? Yes. Just come up and state your name and...
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Iman Novin. I am a long-term resident of Watsonville, or actually I had been, and I just want to kind of reiterate my father's presentation here. I'm local. I went to high school in the community, and like a lot of other peers my age, left because of the exact reasons my father is pointing out, the lack of entertainment. And a lot of you have backgrounds in planning, and it's very important for downtown to have a vibrant entertainment. If you want to be a competitive city and you want to attract youth, and you don't want them leaving to move to live in downtown Santa Cruz or to live in San Francisco, where I moved to be able to drink if you're responsibly. You can't. You don't want to be a dormant city. You want to have a vibrant life, and you need to be responsible. And you need to look to responsible business owners to be a partner and work with the city to be able to create those establishments. San Francisco has a number of restaurants and bars that are open till 2, 3 a.m. Here we're talking midnight, which I think is a very reasonable hour for a city like Watsonville, and would be a great attraction for youth like myself who are looking for alternative venues and places to go after 10 o'clock. I mean, 10 o'clock is when you usually get ready to go out. And so having to drive, all the way to Santa Cruz or other communities or move out and not having those options is a drain. You're going to lose a lot of youth who could stay in the community and who are looking for that urban lifestyle. And what better of a project than the Appleton Grill to experiment with this and to give it a try. It's kind of the carrot and the stick. You give the establishment an opportunity to present itself, and if it messes up and you see problems, well, you can always come back and take that away. But this project, built in 1902, Walter Weeks, if you look at the history, this has originally been an entertainment center. I mean, look at the location. It's right in the heart of downtown, right across from a parking structure, perfect location next to transit. I mean, what other better place to do this, to experiment with this, and to work with the police department alongside to make an establishment like this work, and for it to be the model for the city, and for youth like myself, 21, 22, 23, legal age, to come and be able to enjoy and have a drink, and also for special events, weddings, quinceañeras. There are concerns, but people are going to have quinceañeras. People are going to have weddings. People want to have special events, birthday parties. And we also want to have events where we have no alcohol. I remember when I was 18 years old, and we went to Santa Cruz, the Veterans Hall, and we partied there. What better than to have a responsible business owner who's worried about losing a license, right? If you mess up, you're going to lose your license. There's a lot to lose. but to have it in a controlled environment rather than students or kids binge drinking, going to campus parties, going to house parties, getting drunk other places where it's not supervised, where you don't have bouncers, where you don't have security cameras and you know, doing it anyways. Those problems exist, but allowing you know, it to be done in partnership with the community, I think would be helpful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to address this item? Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and bring it up to the, back to the commission for discussion and/or recommendation. I just wanted to real quickly reiterate the I think, more important conditions. Live entertainment is allowed with a yearly entertainment permit used by the police department staff for special events not attended by the public. Again, it's special events not attended by the public. The hours would be Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10, Friday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to midnight. And then 24 on-site licensed security guards shall be hired to manage the front door of the business between the events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so it's for the special events. And a reliable and recordable closed-circuit video monitoring system shall be installed within 30 days of the date of the hearing. So those are the issues. I mean, there's others that we've discussed, but I think those are the most important ones.
We'd also recommend changing condition 13.
Recommend changing condition 13.
Right. And that was the type 47 license and an additional permit modification if that was going to be open for the public.
Right.
So.
Thank you. Discussion? Motion?
Yeah, so, but my understanding here, with a special use permit for the special events, the business is gonna be also be allowed to maintain, to be open till midnight? Is that how I'm reading this?
The restaurant could be open till midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, on just Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the way it's currently worded.
Excuse me. I guess what concerns me a little bit is the business owner is looking at something totally different than what we got presented on Thursday in the mail. He's looking, I think, to have live entertainment open to the public, and I just don't feel that falls into his license type. I mean,
No. It doesn't, and that's why we're making the recommendation. This is what was presented to us. This is what we ran by the police department. This is what we're comfortable with. We are not comfortable with what Mr. Novin is indicating his conditions are, unless he shows through this process. In 6 months, it comes back. He may be able to request at that time some additional modifications, but it needs to, this is what was presented to us, not what is being presented at this meeting.
It concerns me that at this point in time, that we're just getting this fed to us, and we don't really have a time to digest it.
Well, you have 6 months, basically, the way it's conditioned, to see if it operates the way that he said he originally intended it to go. I mean, I was asked, I asked initially, what is it? You know, and this is what I got. So, you know, I'm again, as you say, trust is an important thing. I want to see that this operates successfully as it was presented before we start opening it up to different opportunities.
And the recommendation is for special events not attended by the public.
Not attended by the public.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I want to underscore that.
Correct.
So we're not going to get a live band.
So if it becomes open to the public, the police department will tell us, and this will come back to you in your 6-month review period, indicating that they're not in compliance with their conditions of approval, the standard process.
Comments? Discussion?
I'd like to make a recommendation that there be added more security guards. I mean, it's not, because he's gonna have the restaurant open, or be allowed to have the restaurant open the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, concurrently with the special events. I, you know, just have this feeling that sometimes special events will be construed to as my son's birthday party.
The recommendation is one on-site licensed security guard, front door on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
The entertainment permit, if it has an excess, and Jorge, you might want to correct me, but I think if it's over 70 people, they automatically have to get another security. What is the? Yeah, I think it's something, every 75 people, they need to get another security guard by the entertainment permit, so.
I mean, that's what it is when you rent a city facility. It's either 70 or 75, but it's for the first 75, and then for each portion thereof, it's one security guard. That's the city regulations when you rent a city facility.
But we can make a stipulation that we want 2 security guards starting at
Yes,
0.
you
correct?
may do that.
I'll make a motion.
Here we go.
That we adopt a resolution modifying an administrative use permit PP 2012-258 by PP 2013-123 to allow extended weekend hours and live entertainment for special events. And we start with 2 security guards, and it's for private parties only. That I think is a good step on this process, and I think in 6 months, we'd be willing to look at it again.
So we're modifying 24 to say 2 on-site licensed security guards shall be hired to manage the front door, well, not just the front door, but
To be there.
to be there during the entertainment events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Rick Dana. Discussion? Questions? Roll call.
Corley,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes. Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. And hope you have a very successful 6 months, and then we could come back in 6 months and see what we can modify, change, increase, decrease. Today has been
The longest meeting.
the longest meeting we've had in my tenure, I think. We had 3 real tough ones that, Keith, don't do this to us anymore.
That's what we get for summer vacation.
I'll make mine real quick.
Report of the secretary.
Real quick, I just have 2 things. First of all, I want to really, really thank you all for coming to the alcohol study session. I hope that that it was a good exercise in trying to listen to the whole issue from the conception of the ordinance, which many of you did not weren't here. And second of all, remind you that the fun is Thursday evening. So please make sure you have let Monica know if you're able to attend and if you're able to bring a guest. And I really hope to see you all there on Thursday. Thank you.
Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 1st. We say 4:30, but if we don't have business, it's really at 6. And I'd like to encourage people, if anyone is still watching us on TV or here, please take your business to the Appleton Grill, Taqueria Mundial, D'Angelo's, Jalisco, El Alteño, Fish House, Applebee's, Red Apple, and I'm sure I can rattle off a lot more. Keep spending your money in Watsonville. Don't go to Santa Cruz.
And behave yourselves.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.